Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Here we go. According to the great man himself, Fabrizio Romano, he just tweeted out, Liverpool have agreed a deal in principle with Bayer Leverkusen to acquire the services of Florian Wirtz for a fee of 150 million euros, add-ons included. Wow. Wow. And I'm going to speak about a multitude of things in this video. First and foremost, how big of a fan I am of Florian Wirtz. I absolutely love this player. Where I kind of see him fitting in at Liverpool, what this signing means for the Premier League, and much more. But before we get into that, I just have to say this. Liverpool Football Club, I owe you an apology. I was unfamiliar with your game. This has shocked me, seriously. I mean, we've known that this move is going to kind of transpire for the last few weeks, right? So it's less shocking now, but when it actually kind of transpired, it shocked me. This is the first time in my lifetime, honestly, guys, right? And I've said this a few times before, but I'm going to say it one more time. It's the first time in my lifetime watching football that I've seen Liverpool go out and acquire the services of one of the best players in the world, either in the peak of his powers or approaching his best years. It's the first time in my life that I've seen Liverpool go for that kind of player, like that kind of profile in the market. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, what are you talking about, right? Look at all the brilliant players Liverpool have signed. Van Dijk, Alisson. Listen to what I'm saying. It's the first time in my lifetime, in my opinion anyways, that they are going aggressively, and they have aggressively got a player either in the prime of his career or approaching it, and you can say his level is that of one of the best players in the world. Like Florian Wirtz, if you're cooking up a list of the top 10 players in world football, you have your undeniables, right? You have a few guys like Mbappe, Yamal, Salah. Dembele is probably in there these days as well now too, but the way he's... You guys know the ones I'm talking about, right? Wirtz might actually make that top 10 list. Like, you could genuinely make a very good argument to put Florian Wirtz there, both because of his quality, what he's already accomplished in the game, his upside, his talent, his production, all of that and more makes his standing in the game one of the best in the world. And I'm sorry, in my lifetime, that's not really been the kind of player Liverpool have really ever pursued in the market. And again, people will say, well, Van Dijk, what about Alisson? What about Salah? Hear me out, right? Alisson was a great goalkeeper, and I think they broke maybe Kepa was the record, but they spent a lot of money to bring Alisson to the club. But Alisson wasn't considered the best goalkeeper in the world. I mean, he had a really good season for Roma the year before, but Alisson was hardly a household name in the game. He had 1 year really where he took over. Van Dijk, like, we knew Van Dijk was a very good center back, but Van Dijk was hardly a world-renowned center back. He wasn't a center back that Madrid wanted and Barca wanted. He was at Southampton, with all due respect. You could tell the upside 100%. He didn't just become a great player at Liverpool, but he wasn't a world-renowned name already. Salah, similar. I mean, he was doing his thing at Roma, but no one thought of Salah as one of the best players in the world. Even going back to Fernando Torres, right, who was a big name at Atletico. I think everybody was kind of whispering his name. And maybe you could compare it a bit to Wirtz, but I think Wirtz's standing right now is higher than Torres's was at the time. Like, again, we knew Fernando Torres was a big prospect at Atletico Madrid, but we hardly looked at him as like a top 5 striker in the world already. Thiago Alcantara is maybe the one player that Liverpool signed that you knew, okay, this is a world beater, honestly, like one of the best players in the world. But Thiago was coming towards the end of his career. He was closer to 30 than he was his best years. So really, I mean, Suarez, they bought him at Ajax. He hadn't exploded yet. You know what I mean? Like, they never really go for this kind of signing. And I'm sure Liverpool fans will probably tell me what the last time they did something like this. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time they signed a player at the peak of his powers and seen as one of the best players in the world already. So from that point of view, I have to applaud them because it's a huge signal of intent. And I have to applaud them even more because look at the teams that they've basically beat out to sign Florian Wirtz. They've beat out Manchester City, who, I mean, depending on who you ask, I mean, City fans will say that it was too much. I mean, City themselves will say, oh, we balked at the price. Liverpool will probably argue, let's be real, Wirtz probably just rejected you. He probably just didn't want to go to you. Whatever side you choose to take. They beat City to the signing of Wirtz, whether it was through financial ambition or whether it was just through Wirtz wanting to join them. But even past that, they've beaten Bayern Munich for one of the biggest names in German football. Florian Wirtz is the kind of signing that is usually a layup for Bayern. That is like their signature signing. Oh, one of the best German players playing for a rival in the Bundesliga. Oh, I'm Bayern Munich. Let me just go poach him. Whether that's Michael Ballack, whether that's Mario Götze. I know Lewandowski's not German, but you know what I mean. The best talents in the Bundesliga, Bayern usually goes and sweeps them up. And they tried for Wirtz. And for most of the season, people have been under the impression that Wirtz was heading to Bayern Munich, especially because his dad was really the one pushing it. Florian, let's go join Bayern. Let's go join Bayern. And I think he wanted his son to join Bayern. But it's come out that Wirtz actually, although he respects Bayern Munich as an institution, of course, preferred Liverpool. He looked at the options on the table and said, no, Liverpool are the club that I want to go and join. That doesn't really happen a lot in terms of turning down Bayern Munich as a German player in the Bundesliga, one of the best in the world. So I think you have to give massive credit to Liverpool for a multitude of reasons, because first and foremost, the sporting project has to be top to convince a player like this to join. And Liverpool's sporting project absolutely is top. But more so than that, you have to have the financial power. You have to flex your financial muscles to go bring a player like this. 150 million euros, add-ons included. Okay, I'm not going to go and throw around numbers that I don't know about, right? I'm not that kind of content creator. From what I'm led to believe, though, they have officially broken the British transfer record with the signing, previously held by Moises Caicedo. And I have to be honest, right? A lot of people will look at that fee and say that's absolutely ridiculous. And look, it depends on how you look at it. Yeah, 150 million euros, whether it's add-ons included, whatever, that is a lot of money. I've always been of the opinion that I would always rather see players of Wirtz's profile go for this kind of money than, and I know Chelsea fans are going to get mad at me, maybe even Arsenal fans will get mad at me, but I'd rather see like record-breaking fees for match winners and like the best attackers in the world, or players that are really completely transforming your football club, than midfielders that aren't really contributing from an attacking point of view. And I know some people will say, yes, that's probably, I don't know, like uneducated. Like that's probably an uninformed opinion. Like people can have impact in different ways. And I get that. But I do feel like, as brilliant as Moises Caicedo, for example, has been, especially this past season, Moises Caicedo was one of the best midfielders in the league. You could argue he was the best in his position this year. He's very, very good. He's not a flop. I still am of the opinion, Moises Caicedo being at his absolute best, the value that you paid for him, like, it probably still isn't worth 115 million what he's doing. It's great. He's a brilliant player, but is his job worth 115 million? I think you could probably find someone to do what he does for less. That's just my opinion, and I feel like that across numerous positions. It's not about Caicedo. I personally think fees like this should go to match winners, guys that can single-handedly win you football games through their attacking contributions, because those kinds of players are worth a dime a dozen, man, both in terms of their goals, their production, their ability to win games, but even more so than that, their ability to sell shirts, their ability to put fans in seats, their ability to make people fall in love with the game, their ability to make people fall in love with your football club. I'm always of the belief that the best attackers should really be going for this fee. So look, Wirtz, it's a lot of money, and he's going to have that price tag kind of hovering over his head, similar to how Paul Pogba did for numerous years, right? But I think you look at A, what he's done in the game already, B, the fact Leverkusen kind of had him tied down if they wanted to. It wasn't like he has a year left on his contract as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty sure. And then C as well too, his upside and his current talent. Yeah, man, it was always going to take a fee like this to get a player like Florian Wirtz. So I actually applaud Liverpool for the ambition. And it's a real statement signing, because one thing Liverpool have really struggled to do, in my opinion, since they kind of rose back to power under Jurgen Klopp and over the last, 6, 7, 8 years, I feel like Liverpool have done really good in terms of building their squad and getting themselves to a level. And then at times, like even overperforming what they probably should have, right? When they won the Champions League in 18-19, when they won the league in 19-20, two huge accomplishments, right? When they went and almost won a quadruple in 21-22. Those were all brilliant moments for Liverpool. But I always kind of felt, right, that after that moment, when they were at that really good high, I don't think they did enough to maintain that high. And I think, not just in sports, but in life, this is my life advice, right? But it is very applicable to sports. I always think the hardest thing in anything you do is not getting to the top. Getting to the top is hard, but it's not the hardest thing to do. Staying at the top, maintaining your position of power, is more difficult than getting there in the first place. Because you see teams get to the top, but oftentimes they come crashing down. Finding a way of staying at the top and sustaining your dominance is always more difficult. And I do feel in the years where Liverpool have had some success, or where they've been on the verge of challenging, I don't think from a recruitment point of view, they have kind of taken advantage of the moment. Like maximize the moment that they're in. I mean, you look at, I guess 18-19 when they won the Champions League, to be fair to them, they didn't make a single signing and they won the league, which fair enough. I think Klopp did an amazing job with that window. But even the year after they won the league, yes, they bought Thiago, who was very injury prone. As good as he was very injury prone, and Diogo Jota is a decent signing. But I don't really look at those signings as like signings that really keep your team in a position of power. And I know Liverpool the next year had injuries and all that stuff, but I just think like I look at the dynasties in the Premier League, the dynastic sides that have kind of went back to back or back to back to back. You're looking at the Chelsea side under Jose Mourinho. You're looking at the Man United sides, numerous of them under Sir Alex. You're looking at the City sides under Pep Guardiola. And what all those sides do when they get to the top, if you notice, they're very aggressive in their negotiations in terms of recruitment. Man United, man, will win titles and then smoke a guy that was basically crucial to that title because Sir Alex just sniffs that he might be on the decline, or he sniffs that someone might be able to come to the team and elevate the level. Not even just keep it there, elevate it. We won the league in 10-11, right? Berbatov was our top scorer. The next season, he barely played. Welbeck was kind of brought into the team. They brought more attackers. They brought Ashley Young. And I know we didn't win the league that year, right? But that's how ruthless you kind of have to be to stay at the top, right? Like, Man United were always bringing in players. We won the league with Saha, Rooney, and Ronaldo in 06-07. The following season, 07-08, Fergie goes and brings Tevez. We win the league again. We win the Champions League. The following season after that, he goes and brings in Berbatov. That's how you stay at the top. You keep adding. Manchester City, it's very, very similar. How many times do we see them win the league and then Aguero is gone, they go bring in someone else. David Silva's gone, they go bring someone else. Company's gone, they go bring in Ruben Diaz. Like, there's Mahrez, he shifted in, they bring someone else. If anything, I think a big part of the reason City had such a bad year this year is actually the ruthlessness that they had shown in the market to kind of keep refreshing their squad. I felt that they started to show a little too much complacency. And you look at the likes of Bernardo Silva, you look at the likes of Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, John Stones, Kyle Walker, they probably let them go a little too long. But they're another side that when they get at a good moment, they take advantage of that moment and maximize the moment so that they stay there. Liverpool, I don't think they've done that enough. And I mean, the proof's in the pudding. 21-22, they were on the verge of a quadruple. The following season, they bought Darwin Nunez and nobody else, and they fell all the way down to 5th. They should have let go of Henderson a year earlier. They should have let go of Fabinho a year earlier. But what Liverpool are doing this window with the acquisitions of Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, soon to be, and Jeremy Frimpong, before we even hit July, they might go sign another center forward. They're not done. But what they're doing is not resting on their laurels. No, they're looking at the great high that they just reached and said, okay, how do we stay at the top? How do we enter next season as not just, okay, we're going to go back in as contenders. No, we're league holders, but we're also going to go in as league favorites. What they're doing, I mean, this is a sign of intent to the entire league that, oh, you think this is just going to be another, oh, we win the league one year and fall off the next. No. Liverpool are here to stay. Liverpool are here to challenge next season. These 3 signings, and especially Florian Wirtz, my goodness, this is how serious teams move. Let's talk about a little bit about Florian Wirtz, right? I'm a huge fan of Florian Wirtz. Seriously, I think this guy is another little genius. And he was actually somebody that I was recommending for Manchester City for the last year. Like, I look at Erling Haaland at Man City and how often I feel like he's starved of service, starved of passes into space for him to run into when De Bruyne is not playing, or when De Bruyne is not playing those passes. I feel like nobody else does it for him. And I looked at Florian Wirtz, who I consider to be one of the best playmakers in world football, and thought to myself, I actually think this guy is perfect. I look at Wirtz and I think this could have been the potential heir to Kevin De Bruyne in terms of, even he's not as good of a ball carrier as De Bruyne, but even in terms of the ability to pick up the ball from deep and carry it forward, weave past the players, get himself into attacking positions, shoot from distance, put in those crosses, play in those slotted passes in behind for an attacker to run into. I look at Wirtz and I think he's a masterful playmaker that would have been huge for City. So the fact that Liverpool have gotten him, first of all, you're weakening a rival, even though I know they've gotten Cherokee, but let's be real, Florian Wirtz is a more established name in the game at this point, man. That was City's first choice, like it or not. Cherokee might end up being the guy for them, but there's no getting away from the fact that Wirtz was the one they originally wanted, and he's the more established player in the game right now. You have to give him his dues. But for Liverpool to go bring in this kind of player, my goodness, man. Liverpool were an amazing team last year, but I do think when I look at that team and I think, what might they have been missing? I do think they might have been just missing a player that, when he kind of gets the ball, and I know Salah is a brilliant player on the right? And in the final third, I mean, every single thing that the guy touches is a goal or an assist. But a player that can kind of just get the ball and open up the fences anywhere on the pitch that he is. He can weave past players. He can kind of play those incisive passes. He can keep, obviously he's a great player in possession in general, great ball carrier, great dribbler. Like, he's just an old school number 10, but also with that level of athleticism, of that level of burst that you kind of need to really thrive in the modern game. I look at Wirtz as a real coup for Liverpool and something that they probably didn't have last season. Last year, it almost felt like if Mohamed Salah wasn't putting chances on a plate for Nunez or Diaz or Gakpo or Jota, nobody else was creating for Liverpool. If Salah has a bad game offensively, Liverpool cannot click. And give credit to the likes of Diaz, Nunez, Gakpo. They all had purple patches of the season where they were on form. Diaz probably more than the purple patch, but it was really Salah throughout the season. And a large load of the attacking responsibility was on his shoulders. And unfortunately, against PSG and against Newcastle, where he happened to have bad games, you really saw how much they rely on him. But in Wirtz now, you are adding, alongside Salah, who's one of the best creators in the Premier League, an all-world level playmaker. So no longer now is all the requirement to kind of create for the team on Salah's shoulders. You have a guy now who's probably going to play more on the left-hand side that is probably just at his level in terms of picking out passes, in terms of playing players through, in terms of opening up defenses. Wirtz is that level of player. So I think this just adds another weapon to the arsenal of Liverpool. But it's a huge weapon. This is like a bazooka gun, man. This is one of the best players in the world. And Liverpool have signed him to a team that just won the league. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Wirtz is such a complete number 10, bro, honestly. In terms of his goal scoring, he has a really good eye for goal. He strikes the ball extremely well. Very, very good finisher. He's got some crazy long-distance strikes on him. I mean, joining Szoboszlai and McAllister, you're probably going to see a few more rockets at Anfield this season. And I think he's just a very level-headed player as well, too. Wirtz almost feels like he plays at his own pace. Sometimes the game almost feels like it's slowed down when he gets the ball because he honestly just plays at his own pace. And a big difference between him and Musiala is more of the guy who can kind of just completely destroy defenses through his dribbling. But oftentimes with Musiala, I do feel like maybe he's playing a little too fast. Like it's almost 100 miles an hour of Musiala. Head down, weave in and out. Maybe sometimes misses the pass that he needs to play. Sometimes maybe could get a shot off. Wirtz is probably not as talented in that regard in terms of just being able to rip defenders to shreds like Musiala does. But in terms of just like in-game intelligence at times, I do feel like Wirtz does kind of have a poise to him that maybe Musiala could kind of adapt. I think Musiala definitely does things better than Wirtz, but Wirtz really has this level of poise and level-headedness when he plays that it just feels like the game is played at his own pace. It just feels like the game comes so easily, so smoothly for him. And I think it's a really, really top acquisition for them, man. Seriously. Now, where does he fit into this team? I'm actually gonna give a shout out to James Alcott, who, if I haven't said it once, I'll say it again. My favorite football YouTuber on the platform. I think he's absolutely brilliant. If you don't know James, definitely check out his channel. I'm sure you guys do. Very, very good tactician, really smart guy. But he made a video where Wirtz and all these new signings could kind of fit in. And it's something I thought about, but I didn't really kind of visualize. And he does a really good job of visualizing tactics boards and like bringing ideas to life. And he kind of brought up a few games that Liverpool played last season under Arne Slot, especially when they went down a goal or when they went down a man, where actually Arne Slot would sacrifice maybe Robertson or someone, bring Gravenberch almost as a third center back, and play a 3-4-3, where Szoboszlai would drop in as another midfielder next to McAllister, the wingbacks on either side, or the wide forwards on either side. They go, Salah on another guy, and then a striker. And Liverpool really played some great football. He perfectly illustrated it. And when you look at Frimpong and Kerkez, first and foremost, you have to look at Frimpong more than anybody. This is a complete night and day shift from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Absolutely. Like, Trent, I'm not going to even mention him too much because I know how you guys feel, how Liverpool fans feel about him right now. As brilliant as he is, he's a completely different proposition to Frimpong. Trent is more of a creator. He's more of a passer of the ball. Sometimes he wants to pick up those balls deeper and play those long balls into the path of Salah. Frimpong's not really that kind of player. Frimpong is damn near a winger at times, man. He played as a wing back the last few years at Leverkusen. He plays as a winger for the Netherlands, but he's a guy that plays high and he plays wide and he just bombs up and down the pitch. He picks up so many attacking goal-scoring positions or crossing positions. It's ridiculous. So switching from Trent to Frimpong clearly is a difference in philosophy. Kerkez, we know him as well too from Bournemouth, if they get that over the line, which it appears they will. That guy looks desperate to join Liverpool. Is another guy who really occupies almost an entire flank by himself. At Bournemouth, he is just bombarding up and down that left channel. He's going to be another guy that's going to be on the left. So you got Frimpong on the right, Kerkez on the left. Imagine them as just wing backs. Let's say Gravenberch in possession is occupying as a third center back. So really, on the team sheet, it's 4-3-3, let's say, right? But in possession, you could very well see Liverpool executing that 3-4-3. Gravenberch playing as a center back in possession, right? Or dropping deep in possession. Szoboszlai kind of coming and sitting next to McAllister in the midfield too. And then Wirtz actually playing off the left. But not playing off the left like Gakpo plays off the left. Or like, I don't know, Diaz plays off the left. No, playing almost as like a left number 10. A left attacking midfielder who starts maybe on the outside, but finds himself drifting into those pockets, into the box, into those central attacking positions time and time and time again. And because Kerkez and Frimpong are so aggressive on either flank, it really allows so much space for Mohamed Salah on the right and Wirtz on the left to really come inside, play on the edge of the box, pick up positions inside the box, and really do their best damage as close to goal as possible. And that's something that Salah really benefited from last year by Slot, right? Slot effectively told him, stop practically playing as a touchline winger. I want you as high and central as possible, close to goal, because I know if you do that, you're going to score 30 goals, you're going to get 20 assists. He almost basically did that. He's probably going to have even more license to do that because of how much responsibility Frimpong will have on his flank to basically just be the winger. On the other side, Kerkez will just let Wirtz be, man. I mean, Wirtz, if this all kind of gets executed the way I think it will, Wirtz should really eat in the system, man. He really should have a hell of a time at Liverpool. And I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because the quality this kid has, it's pouring out of his ears, man. He is an absolute wonder kid. And for Liverpool to be signing this player, I'm very, very jealous. Seriously, I'm very, very jealous. And I look at the Premier League, right, over like last year. It was a league that I really kind of struggled to watch towards the end, because I hate seeing no competition. I hate a league where the title race is practically done, maybe not mathematically, but realistically done by January. It irked me how poor Arsenal and City were last season. Nothing to take away from Liverpool, but I'm like, where are the guys challenging them? But I look at this year in the Premier League, what Liverpool have done, they're definitely going to be back there. I look at what City have done already in the form of Reinders, Cherki, and Aït-Nouri for a combined fee of like 115 million pounds. They're probably going to be back up there again as well too. I wouldn't expect Pep to have 2 off years in a row, which kind of leaves Arsenal as like the team. Okay, what are you going to do next? But if you believe the rumors, they have an interest in Rodrigo, they have an interest in Sesko, but this is what I really want to see. Obviously, I would love for Man United to be competing with these teams. That's definitely not going to happen. Bear that in mind, right? But even if it's not Man United, I want to see competition. I want to see a league where every single week, 2 to 3 teams are gunning for the title. And I think we really have a good opportunity to see that, because what Liverpool are doing, what City are doing, and what Arsenal might be poised to do, man, it's special. And I think it's really good to see Wirtz and Cherki come to the Premier League, right? And I've seen so much comparison between the two of them. If you guys came here to see me debate Wirtz versus Cherki, please click off the video. That's not what I'm here for. Like, I could not care less. Seriously. It is so corny to see how people online behave about this kind of stuff. But I like De Bruyne has left the Premier League. Maybe the best creator of all time in Premier League history, right? The best Premier League creator of all time. Trent has left the Premier League. One of the best creators from wide positions we've ever seen. That's huge quality lost in the form of those two. But in the form of Wirtz and Cherki, you are getting 2 of the best chance creators, the 2 of the most creative, and 2 of the best playmakers in European football. So that's good for the Premier League, right? It might be scary for other teams, but that's good for the product of the Premier League, adding that much quality in the form of 2 players. And you look at the rest that these guys are getting. I actually really can't wait for the Premier League, man. Seriously. I hate that it's coming in the form of my 2 biggest rivals, but wow, man. If you love football, this is what you want to see, man. The best players playing for the best teams and really elevating the standards of the league. And I think in the form of Florian Wirtz, man, Liverpool have had a massive coup. Liverpool fans, let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, you really don't have to. I already know how you feel about this. You guys are probably over the moon. You're signing a world-class player. You're signing one of the best players in world football. You have very, very good reason to be excited. But I'm actually interested in what other fans are thinking. Seeing a player of Wirtz go to Liverpool, how apprehensive are you? Obviously, if you're a City fan, you're going to probably still believe your team can do it. But seeing a player like this go to Liverpool, I'm sorry, that has me shook, man. That has me shook, because Liverpool just equaled Man United's 20 titles, right? What's to stop them from going 21? Wow, you add a player like this. And one thing, right, before I kind of wrap this up, I look at what Liverpool are doing this window, and I almost feel like it's a reward to Arne Slot, because Arne Slot came in last season. It's very important to remember this, right? He came in last season and effectively didn't sign anyone. You can tell me about Chiesa. Do me a favor. Chiesa barely featured for Liverpool. He took over a team that wasn't his, made no acquisitions, didn't get Zubimendi who he wanted to, and was effectively told, work with what you've got. And he took a team that was a good team. Obviously, we're not going to try to say they were scrubs, but they also probably weren't the favorites to win the league. He took a team that under Jurgen Klopp, one of the biggest figures in Liverpool's history, couldn't get over the line. And with his tactical flexibility and tactical adjustments, got them, not even just got them over the line, they flew over the line. I think they looked at what Slot did with limited resources and how he improved what he had, what he was given, and probably said, yeah, that job is so good that here's your reward. We're going to reward you with one of the best young players in the world. We're going to reward you with 2 of the most exciting, high-flying wingbacks in world football. They're probably going to go and sign him a striker as well, too. And that's another thing as well, too, now. Darwin Nunez looks like he might be on the move to Al Hilal. If that happens, we know that's going to be a huge 60 million plus fee. Luis Diaz, there's still rumors, whispers about his future, and if he goes to Saudi, that's another big fee right there. Who's the striker that Liverpool are going to buy? Maybe a Hugo Ekitike? It's certainly not going to be an Alexander Isak. That is a pipe dream for any team this summer. But who's going to be that center forward to kind of complete this attacking trifecta? Wirtz, Salah, and a new number 9. Liverpool fans, dream on, man. Honestly, like this is the time to dream because right now, I think your club, Michael Edwards and the crew have situated you guys to really dominate this league for the next foreseeable future if you guys are really up for it. Obviously, there's going to be competition. Obviously, City still exists, but they have given you as good a chance as any. And I think, honestly, that's all you can ask for. When you're at the top, do what you can to maintain your position. And I have to say, man, Liverpool have done that and more. So congratulations to Liverpool for the acquisition of Florian Wirtz and the Premier League. Be very afraid.